Hi folks, it's Chef Kevin. What I'm making now is my version of chicken soup. Now I say my version because you ask 100 different chefs how to make chicken soup and you're going to come up with 100 different ways to make chicken soup. Now in my previous video I made an organic vegetable stock, and you can link down to the previous video and see that. Now here are my ingredients. This is a portion of my organic vegetable stock that I made. You can't really see it too well, but it's nice and clear, very bright, vibrant. My other ingredients are, of course, the chicken. This is a Murray's chicken. This is a rather high-end chicken. It's about 4.5 pounds. Grown without antibiotics, no added hormones, no growth stimulants. It's fed an all-vegetable diet, free of animal byproducts, no artificial ingredients, no preservatives, minimally processed, and gluten-free. It is a fresh, young, lean chicken. Now, who doesn't like a young, lean chick? Anyways, it has a farm verification code. You can go online, look it up, and see exactly where it came from and trace its history. I'd say this chicken's really been taken care of. Now it's going to take care of me. I always have a bag full of boneless chicken legs. Actually, bought these by accident. I was thinking they were boneless thighs, but my fault by not reading the label like I should have. I have the normal vegetables that you find in a soup: carrots, celery, some beautiful baby Bella mushrooms. I also have several cans of crushed tomatoes. I'm going to add that to the soup. That'll give it another level of flavor, and it also acts as a thickener. I also have some pickling spices here, and I'm going to be adding them in as well. There's mustard seed in here, bay leaves, allspice. It really smells good. I think it'll go really well with the soup. So the first thing I'm going to do is wash the chicken inside and out and inspect it. And then I'm going to put it in a large pot, a 12-quart stock pot, with the cold vegetable stock. Bring that up to a boil for about an hour and 15 minutes or so. In the meantime, I'll show you how to prep these vegetables. I'll walk you through it, and the final product is going to be amazing. Ordering one chicken soup.
What'll it be, sir?
I'll take the short ribs.
I think we got some delicious chicken soup.
Just short ribs.
I know, but you haven't tried our chicken soup. I know, because I had look.
Short ribs.
Short ribs. Chicken soup coming up.
One chicken soup coming up.
Nice fresh chicken too.
Fresh chicken soup coming out.
That Shemp is quite the cook, isn't he? But I doubt if he's using organic vegetable stock. Anyways, here's the chicken. It's very nice looking chicken. You may not be able to tell on the video, but it has a nice color to it. It's sort of reddish. It's not pale. has a little excess skin. I'm going to toss that out. That doesn't contribute to the flavor at all. Plus there's also a big piece of fat here at the opening. I'll toss that out. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put it into the cold vegetable stock, bring it to a boil. I already have the chicken legs in there. It came with the chicken neck, and the chicken neck does have some flavor to it, does have some bones in it, and that's good because the bones have the marrow and the collagen in there. It also came with the liver, but you do not put gland meat in a soup. But what I probably will do is fry this up later with a little onion, come up with an appetizer for myself. Okay, I'm going to start the veg prep, and you can watch how it's done. Okay folks, what I'm doing now is I'm adding my pickling spices, and I have some garlic here that'll add some extra flavor as well. Take some spices, put it right on top like that. Now put it on a piece of cheesecloth. Now the reason I'm doing that is because I'm not going to strain the soup like you would a stock. So you do not want a bunch of little pieces of spices floating around, because a lot of them are hard, you know, like peppercorns. You don't want to bite down on a peppercorn. So I wrapped it up in cheesecloth, tied it off. I'm going to put it in with the chicken, and this way you get the flavoring of the pickling spices and the garlic, and this is very easy to withdraw from the soup when it's ready. I'm using 1 stalk of celery, and by the way, these are both organic. Since the vegetable stock was organic, I'm keeping with the theme. I washed them. I already cut off the ugly ends, so I'm basically just going to cut them about 3/8 of an inch or so. Straight cuts are fine. And that goes with the carrots. Carrots and tomatoes are probably the most common vegetables you'll find in any soup or stock. They have a nice taste to them, and they create a nice aroma as well. These are my baby bella mushrooms, also known as crimini mushrooms. Now these have to be washed as well. As you can see, it has substance on it. That's not dirt per se. That is the growth media. So after you wash it, you'll see that there's no black spots on it. Now what I always do is I cut off the bottom portion of the stem, because that's been exposed to God knows what. And I'm just basically going to cut them up in about 1/4 inch slices. This one has no stem. Mushrooms are one of the healthiest vegetables around. Voila. Okay, the soup is almost to a boil, or almost to a simmer, I should say, and that's all I want to do. I don't want to boil it. If you boil it, the result could be a soup that is very cloudy and not very attractive looking. I'm going to go ahead and put the spices in. Spices in. What I'm doing now is a process called skimming the scum. Now I know that sounds kind of gross, but anytime you make a soup, chicken soup, beef soup, whatever, you're going to come up with this foam, which is referred to in the business as scum. And basically what you do about every 15 minutes is you take a skimmer like this and just pick up all that stuff and transfer it to a bowl of water to rinse it off the spoon, or the skimmer I should say, and this will keep your soup nice and clean. It's just coming up to a simmer, if you can see that. There's tiny bubbles coming up to the surface. This is not a boil at all. You do not want to even bring it up to a boil. If you bring it up to a boil, you're going to make it spoil. Okay folks, the chicken has been simmering for an hour and a quarter. So I'm going to take it out. You can see the wings are starting to fall off the carcass. That's a good indication. The legs, the meat is separating from the bone. Those are definitely done. Going to take out the bag of spices I had. That will be discarded. I'm going to turn up the heat now, bring it to a slight boil. And then I'm going to drop my mushrooms in there. These seem to take longer to cook than anything. I'm going to go ahead and skim it just a little bit. There are little bits and pieces in here of chicken. So I'm going to clean that up a bit and then dump my mushrooms in there. Okay, the mushrooms are in, and I just put a thermometer into the chicken. It's about 165. So it's going to continue to cook a little bit more while it cools off. And then this is going to go back into the pot, but not until very last when it's cooled down and I can shred it up and cut it up nicely. So the mushrooms are in, and I'll let them cook for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to add the celery, carrots. And I also had some green peas that I'm going to throw in the mix as well. And then add my tomato product. And this is going to be one beautiful soup. Okay, the mushrooms are cooking away nicely. I got a head start on those. I'm going to add the celery carrot mix. Cook that for about another 10 minutes. In about 5 minutes, I will add the peas. The peas go in last because they tend to cook very quickly. I want to make the vegetables a little on the firm side. I don't want these to be total mush. The mushrooms, celery, and carrots have been cooking away. And I've checked for tenderness. What I do is I take out a piece of celery and a piece of carrot and then just basically bite into it to determine if it's soft enough. You'll notice as the celery becomes softer, it becomes more translucent as well. I'm going to go ahead and dump my peas in here now. Okay, peas have been in about 5 minutes. Like I said, I don't want to make this a mush fest. Plus, I like to keep them al dente because that way you maintain more of the nutritions. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add some starch to the mix. This is raviolette, which means small ravioli. Cheese ravioli. Cook time, it says 12 to 15 minutes, but I highly doubt that. So I'll be checking that. Okay folks, this is the last process. This is called shocking, where you reduce the temperature of the product very quickly. And you want to do this for two main reasons. Number one, you want to stop the cooking process because it has already cooked. There's no sense in cooking it further. And number two, you want to get ready to put it in the refrigerator because you do not want to put a steaming hot product in your residential refrigerator or else it'll go bonkers. So basically what I've done is I've put the pot into a kitchen sink, added 15 pounds of ice as well as some cold water, and in about 20-25 minutes this will be nice and chilled and I can decant it. Okay, your soup is served. Let's take a closer look at what we have here. We have fresh homemade chicken soup garnished with parsley. And let's take a closer look. You can see the mini raviolis. There's peas in here, carrots, and celery. And the star of the soup is the chicken, so there is plenty of chicken in here. This is perhaps one of the best comfort foods around. Very healthy, very tasty, and I'm very hungry. So enjoy the soup, but don't piss off your chef, or there's no soup for you.
You know what? Has anyone ever told you you look exactly like Al Pacino? You know, Scent of a Woman. Hoo-ah! Hoo-ah!
Very good. Very good. You know something? Nothing for you!